The Force Awakens! The Force Awakens was spectacular. I mean, it was everything that you would want a Star Wars movie to be. Especially so if you loved the originals. So A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. They were just phenomenally good. And now with the new Star Wars Force Awakens, it kind of brought all three of those together in one fantastic Star Wars film that I would highly recommend to anyone. Now, one of the most negative, I guess, things you could say that people have said about the new movie is that it's too much like Star Wars A New Hope. And yeah, it follows a lot of the same ideas as A New Hope, kind of goes along kind of the same path as A New Hope. It isn't scene for scene, though, the same as A New Hope. There is new characters, there's a new villain, there's new creatures, there's even new locations. Even the locations are different. So it is different, but it will seem and look familiar to those who are familiar with the original movies. But see, everybody was saying that they wanted the new Star Wars movie to feel, sound, and look like the originals, and Disney and J.J. Abrams and the whole cast listened to the fans, and they have delivered a fantastic movie that meets the fans' expectations. This isn't anything like the prequels. The prequels that were relied so much on CGI, and we had an annoying young Anakin Skywalker who was always whining, and I mean, it was just, it's like, why couldn't Lucas have made the prequels like he made the originals? It's almost like he went to the dark side, but that's for another whole video. I have a whole video I want to make about George Lucas, and his recent comments about Disney, and just kind of putting a lot of this stuff together because, a lot of it is funny in a way. But, yeah, The Force Awakens was fantastic, This is not going to contain any spoilers because I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. Perhaps I could make a spoiler review of The Force Awakens, since I did see it, obviously. But I think that it, again, brought a lot of those feelings that you got from the originals into the new movie. The lightsaber duels were really, really good. Like, it wasn't like the prequels where you had like super martial arts and spectacular moves and jumping up, jumping around and doing somersaults and backflips and none of that stuff, okay? It's more like hack and slash barbarian type Conan style fighting, or old medieval age sword fighting, which makes the movie really cool, I think, and it makes it more realistic. It's something that you can relate to. In fact, you could do your own duels if you wanted to. And the villain was great. The villain was very, I felt insecure of himself, but at the same time, he had a sense of fear. He had a sense of, he had a lot of aggression, a lot of anger, and he was kind of just all over the place. This new villain was very complex in his nature. And then, Rey, the girl in the movie, I thought she played a fantastic role and was very surprising to see her develop in the movie. And then, of course, we have Finn, who was, again, fantastic. And, I think Finn is kind of like, he's kind of like the new Han Solo. But we'll see what happens in episode 8. But in Harrison Ford, I mean, man, Harrison Ford, he's... What can I say? He's Harrison Ford. He's Han Solo. He's Indiana Jones. He's, he played a fantastic role. And, you can tell that Han is back when you watch the movie. That he's not just playing like he would in, say, Ender's Game or just another movie, but he actually takes back his role as Han Solo, and he just played a fantastic part with that. And as far as like ratings and reviews, Internet Movie Database so far has an 8.5. When it first came out, it was over a 9, but then obviously as people vote more and more, it went down. But that's to be expected. And then on Metacritic, it's got an 81 score. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 94%. I mean, the movie itself is just really kicking butt across, the whole field. It's breaking records left and right. It was the first movie to ever reach $1 billion in, I think it was 12 days or something like that. And I believe that it's on its way to definitely surpass Jurassic World. So it will definitely, I believe, take the third biggest movie of all time. If not the first, but it would have to obviously be Avatar, which it still has a ways to go, but it's also not open yet in China. I think that opens there on January 9th. So if it does really successful there, it's only going to boost the sales. So, I've been collecting some of the Star Wars toys. I got one right here. That's actually not from the movie, but that's from my Battlefront game. I have a lot of new figures from the movie that I'll make a video of and show you guys. But, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I grew up with the original movies, and I've watched them hundreds of times. I've memorized lines. I mean, I pretty much know line for line everything that they say in the movie. I can say it before they even say it. That's, I'm a pretty die-hard Star Wars guy. The movie itself, again, it was fantastic. It was very complex. There was a lot of emotions that you could feel in this movie. I mean, if you're going into the movie, you're going in to watch it, and you're expecting just one thing, you may be disappointed because it's just a whole variety of feelings and emotions that you're going to feel when you watch this movie. And again, especially so if you grew up watching the originals. As far as the scenes and the creatures and everything, it's so cool. You can tell that it was more realistic, not really CGI, but people in costumes, real models, sets, BB-8, the new droid, which is really awesome. I like his sound effects. I like the way that he rolls around and his head just kind of goes along with it, And speaking of BB-8, there's a really cool droid that you can buy by company Sphero, which is like a drone type deal, where you can control it with an iPad or iPod, which is cool. But yeah, man, there was a funny part in it where Han Solo said to Chewie, "Man, I really like this thing." When he was using his crossbow, and there was just a lot of funny lines. I mean, it was a funny movie, actually. I thought it was a pretty funny movie. So, if you have not seen Force Awakens, I would highly recommend it if you like Star Wars. Again, there's always going to be those haters, though. There's always going to be people out there that are going to give any movie a negative review because it doesn't meet up their expectations. And that's the thing, guys. If you go into a movie and you have these super high expectations, it more than likely will not meet those expectations because no movie is perfect. But you gotta give credit where credit is due. And in this case, Disney, J.J. Abrams, and all of the characters, all the cast, you can tell put their heart and soul into this movie. And they are all Star Wars fans. So that alone is enough to really, you know, admire and really love this film. I think that it was well made, and again, it was a huge undertaking. I mean, it's Star Wars, you know, but I think the fact that Disney and J.J. Abrams decided to go kind of their own way and not go along with George Lucas's story scripts for 7, 8, and 9, I think was a smart move. Because, you know, we all know what happened in the prequels, the midi-chlorians, we had Anakin, you know, this Padme. It was like a big soap opera, you know. Just all computer, very little character development. So, all in all, I give Force Awakens 5 out of 5. I mean, I have to. So, if you guys liked the movie, if you liked this review, please don't forget to subscribe, and I also got a lot of other videos on Star Wars and stuff like that you can check out in my playlists. So with that, take care, and I'll catch you in my next video.